Today we discuss about the classification and tabulation of data. Classification and tabulation. The data collected for the purpose of a statistical inquiry sometimes consists of a few fairly simple figures which can be easily understood without any special treatment, but more often there is an overwhelming mass of raw data without any structure. This unwieldy, unorganized and shapeless mass of collected is not capable of being rapidly or easily associated or interpreted. Unorganized data are not fit for further analysis and interpretation. In order to make the data simple and easily understandable, the first task is not condense and simplify them in such a way that irrelevant data are removed and their significant features all stand out prominently. The procedure adopted for this purpose is known as the method of classification and tabulation. Classification help proper tabulation. Meaning of classification. Classification is the process of arranging things or data in groups or classes according to their resemblance and affinities and gives expression to the unity of attributes that may subsist among a diversity of individuals. Definition of a classification. Classification is the process of arranging data into sequences and groups according to their common characteristics or separating them into different but related parts. The process of grouping large number of individual facts and observation on the basis of similarity among the items is called a classification. Characteristics of classification. Classification performs homogeneous grouping of data. It brings out points of similarity and dissimilarities. The classification may be either be real or imaginary. Classification is flexible to accommodate adjustments. Objectives of classification: to simplify and condense a large data, to present the facts to easily in understandable form, to allow comparisons, help to draw valid inferences, relate the variables among the data, to help further analysis, eliminate unwanted data, prepare tabulation. Guiding principles of classification. Following are the general guiding principles for good classification: exhaustive classification, mutually exclusive, suitability, stability, homogeneity, flexibility. Modes or types of classification. Modes or types of classification refers to the class categories into which the data could be sorted out and tabulated. These categories depend on the nature of data and purpose for which data is being showed. Important types of classification: geographical, chronological, qualitative, numerical and quantitative. Geographical classification. In geographical classification, the classification is based on the geographical regions. For example, the sales of the company in million rupees. Region-wise, north, south, east, west can be plotted in this example. Chronological classification. The statistical data are classified according to the time of its occurrence. The type of classification is called chronological classification. For example, sales reported by a departmental store. Month-wise report can be formed in this example. Qualitative classification. In qualitative classification, the data are classified according to the presence or absence of attributes in given units. Thus, the classification is based on some quality characteristics or attributes. Example: sex, literacy, education, class grade, etc. Further, it may be classified as simple classification, manifold classification. Simple classification. If the classification is done into only two classes, then classification is known as simple classification. For example, population into male or female, educated or uneducated. Manifold classification. In this classification, the classification is based on more than one attribute at a time. For example, population: smokers, non-smokers, smokers, literate, illiterate, non-smokers, literate, illiterate. And further, the graph can be formed. Next, the quantitative classification. In quantitative classification, the classification is based on the quantitative measurements of some characteristics such as age, marks, income, production, sales, etc. The quantitative phenomenon under study is known as a variable, and hence this classification also called as a classification by variable. In this classification, marks obtained by students is variable, and the number of students in each class represent the frequency. For example, for a 50-mark test, marks obtained by the students as classified as below. Within the frequency. In this classification, marks obtained by students is variable, and the number of students in each class represent the frequency. The number of students represented by frequency, and the marks obtained is represented by is a variable. Tabulation. Meaning and definition of tabulation. Tabulation may be defined as a systematic arrangement of data is column and rows. It is designed to simplify presentation of data for the purpose of analysis and statistical inferences. Major objectives of tabulation: to simplify the complex data, to facilitate comparison, to economize the space, to draw valid inferences, to help for further analysis. Difference between classification and tabulation. First, data are classified and presented in tables. Classification is the basis for tabulation. Tabulation is a mechanical function of classification because its tabulation classified data are placed in rows and columns. Classification is a process of statistical analysis, while tabulation is a process of presenting data in suitable structure. Classification of tables. Classification is done based on coverage, objective, or purpose or nature of inquiry. For example, simple table. Data are classified based on only one characteristic, that is distribution of marks. Two-way table means classification based on two characteristics. For example, the class mark, the number of students is a simple table. Class marks, number of students, boys or girls total. Therefore, simple table, only number of students plotted. Two-way table, it can be split up into two, boys and girls. Frequency distribution. Frequency distribution is a table used to organize the data. The left column includes numerical intervals on a variable under study. The right column contains a list of frequencies or number of occurrences of each class or group. Intervals are normally of equal size covering the sample observation range. It is simply a table in which the gathered data are grouped into classes and the number of occurrences which fall in each class is recorded. Definition. A frequency distribution is a statistical table which shows the set of all distinct values of the variable arranged in order of the magnitude, either individually or in groups with their corresponding frequencies. A frequency distribution can be classified as series of individual distribution, discrete frequency distribution, continuous frequency distribution. Series of individual observation. Series of individual observation is a series where the items are listed one after each observation. For a statistical calculation, these observations could be arranged in either ascending or descending order. This is called an array. Example, the above data is a raw data. The presentation of data in above file does not reveal any information. The data is arranged ascending or descending in the order of their magnitude, which gives better presentation. Then it is called the arraying of data. Discrete frequency distribution. The data series are presented in such a way that indicating its exact measurement of unit. Then it is called as a discrete frequency distribution. Discrete variable is one where the variance differ from each other by definite amounts. Example, assume that a survey has been made to know the number of postgraduates in 10 families at random. The resulted raw data could be as follows: 0, 1, 3, 1, 0, 2, 2, 2, 2, 4. This data can be classified into an ungrouped frequency distribution. The number of postgraduates becomes variable x, for which we can list the frequency of occurrence f in a tabular column as follows. The above example shows a discrete frequency distribution where the variable has a discrete numerical values. The number of postgraduates as x, frequency as f. Continuous frequency distribution. Grouped frequency distribution. Continuous data series is one where the measurements are only approximation and are expressed in class intervals within a certain limit. In continuous frequency distribution, the class intervals theoretically continues from the starting of the frequency distribution till the end without break. According to Waddington, the variable which can take very intermediate value between the smallest and the largest value in the distribution is a continuous frequency distribution. For example, marks obtained by 20 students in students' exam for 50 marks are as given below. Convert the data into continuous frequency distribution. Marks as well as the number of students who getting marks within the frequency. Thank you.